All right, Ricardo, welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Mike.
Good to have you back.
Yeah.
Cheers, my friend. All right, well, we've had quite the interesting time here. We've been fucking around with this stupid fucking bullshit for the last hour and a half.
Hours, yeah.
Jesus Christ. For 1 minute we got bad sound. The next minute we got no video.
Yeah. And that lasted for like an hour.
Yeah, and now we've lost our way. We're out here just kind of like, doing the fucking miring through the fucking boggy marsh. I don't know. Anyway, we were going somewhere with this tonight.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing that I wanted to mention, and I put something out about this, I think on my Twitter and my Facebook, was that flight that was a Ukrainian cargo plane that crashed in northern Greece. This happened about a week ago, but kind of a crazy story.
Yeah,
it's a crazy story because you've got a lot of players involved.
Yeah,
you've got the guy that's the arms dealer that's got sanctions against him from the United States. It was supposedly the owner of all that. They said it was mortars and mines. What does the Ukrainians have with mines?
I have no idea.
They've got the whole Black Sea, covered in what do they call those? Aquatic water mines?
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some kind of a better term for it. I don't know. They float around and they go boom. And if you hit them with your fucking boat, they go boom.
Yeah, but it's like, what obsession do they have with those? It's like,
right, and they completely fucked all the commerce there too, because a lot of the Russian stuff goes out of Odessa, out of that port, and their stuff goes out of there. And then they got these mines, and I mean, some of them turned up in Turkey, in weird places, and they're all old, and rusted out, clapped out, like just old shit, kind of like the old howitzers we've given them, Like they're out there trying to fuck with these old ass howitzers, like you'd see out at the National Guard building, But so anyway, this plane, it takes off from Serbia, and it's loaded with all these arms, these mortars and these mines, allegedly. I don't know for sure.
We don't know.
Who knows what? It turns into a fucking hurtling fireball going through, the sky. And, some of the rural people in northern Greece, they get video of it. It crashes in what appeared to be a farm field.
Yeah.
And then just keeps exploding, leaving white residue everywhere.
Yeah. Which is so weird because...
Yeah. I mean, the first thought is, okay, are these white phosphate... is it white phosphate? Because that's against the Geneva Convention. You're not. I mean, that's a no-no. Even though seems like certain people get away with using it.
Yeah.
But then the fact that the rescue people that showed up said their lips were turning numb.
Yeah.
Now what happens with cocaine? All you people out there that have dabbled with the marching powder. It makes they call it a number for a reason. It's it'll make your gums numb. Now I don't know what the other stuff.
No,
but it's like, what the hell is the white powder all over?
Yeah, no, it makes me laugh because when I was at Miami, I watched people do cocaine right in front of me, and I was like,
Miami.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'll pass on that. I'll stick to weed. I was
like, no, you can admit it if you do.
No, I've never tried it. It's like.
Oh, God. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. No, that shit'll get you. I mean, it depends on where it's from. I knew some Bolivians back in the day. And hoo-wee. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
I think the statutes of limitations are done on that one. But, Zelensky has allegedly been accused of being a drug addict.
Yeah.
There's video of him that makes you wonder because his behavior is awfully... I mean, you can understand, I guess, if he's stressed out, he hasn't slept, or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of different videos that came out where you looked at him and went... he kept doing, was doing this shit.
Yeah.
Sniffing and snuffling, and his eyes were just like pinned. It was like... And Putin I mean, he made the claim that they were all neo-Nazis and drug addicts.
Yeah.
Now, where would he get that from? I mean, did he just make that up? It's been said in a number of different forums. I can't say if it's true or not, but it's just kind of a weird coincidence that you've got this Ukrainian cargo plane with 8 crew members going from Serbia to Bangladesh, full of arms.
Doesn't make sense. It's like, what?
Well, I think if we were to dig deeper, I think that there might be some sense to be made of it, because I think that Bangladesh is war torn right now.
Yeah.
And then Serbia has always been in the middle of. They've never been. I don't think.
No.
But you look at country. But you look at the United States, and in our existence, we've been around for 246 years, and I think we've had 8 years that we haven't been at war.
Yeah.
If I'm citing that correctly, I may be wrong. I mean, not legitimate, like congressionally, signed off on war, but we haven't had a congressional sign. We haven't had a war go through the proper procedure since when? Korea? Because Vietnam wasn't.
Oh yeah, no.
And then after that, I mean, none of the other war, none of that was ever, that was never signed off on by Congress. So, you can say that the United States, we just do our war. we do our war away from home, right?
Yeah.
Like, we go over there and fuck you up, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need some freedom. Here we come. Get ready to have your fucking shit put into rubble and,
No, say that to Afghanistan. It's like,
God. The bad thing was they were so sad to see. I mean, they were to see us leave and know that the Taliban was coming in. That was pathetic on our part. Absolutely pathetic to just leave all those people. I mean, I still go back and sometimes I'll catch that footage of that C-15 taking off with all those.
Oh my gosh, no.
I mean, just the fact that that shit's going to get so bad that you're willing to cling onto the side of a fucking a military,
plane and fall. Yeah.
And that also, I guess, speaks for, the technology over there, the education, perhaps. I mean, what's going through your head when you're hanging off a goddamn...
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think's going to happen? You're just going to hang on that thing? And, it ain't going to be like a fucking cartoon, man. No. It ain't going to be like that gremlin on the Twilight Zone or Bugs Bunny or whatever, man. I mean, your shit's going to get fucked up, man. It's going to get cold, first of all. And then, I thought about those poor motherfuckers that were hanging on to the landing gear.
Yeah.
And having to make that decision at 2,000 feet up in the air. Do I hang on and watch this landing gear come up and cut me in half? Or do I let go and fall to my death? That's a rough prospect right there, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I bet none of those cats were thinking that when they were holding on to that thing.
No, but out of the two options, I think I'd rather fall off to my death instead of...
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to... it's like the poor souls that you saw like 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, am I going to get burned alive or do I just jump?
Yeah.
And that's got to be a crazy leap. The fall. Just no. Because you're not going to. You're not. You're not going to feel any.
No, it doesn't take a fucking engineer to look at the building burning and be like, oh yeah, that building's going to fall down. It's like.
Well, that's a weird thing too, though, with that, because jet fuel is not supposed to burn hot enough to melt structural steel like that.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that whole.
No.
We're not gonna fucking. We're not gonna. We're not gonna get into that can of worms. But it was obviously hot enough that you got to make a choice. They say that burning to death or drowning is like the worst way to go. They said drown. I've heard, and who would know? There's nobody around to say.
No.
Nobody who's drowned can say, "Oh, that was a really shitty way to go."
But out of the two, I think that I'd rather drown than burn to death. Yeah.
I was watching a thing today. They got some big fires burning up in California again, by Yosemite.
Yeah.
And they were talking. I looked back to 2018 when they had the Paradise fires. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Dude, that was terrible. That was horrible, man. That whole city. They said it was like 40,000 people and like 18,000 buildings just decimated, just gone.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a chance to evacuate. There was one girl that was on there, and I felt terrible for her. She was still to this day. I mean, her mom decided to stay in the house. They got in an argument. The girl was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
She drives out of there. The mother stays. And then in the aftermath, of course, they find the bones left in the, and she's continued to beat herself up over it. But it's like, what are you going to do? But there were so many people, they found them just inside their homes, or even people that were trying to just get out of there. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching the footage of that today, just going, Jesus Christ. And wasn't that thing started by the electric company?
Yeah.
What did they ever have to pay for that? Did they? Nothing? Just, Yeah, we'll keep you, we give you power. We give you power, and we burn down your city.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that place is gone.
Yeah.
Paradise is gone. Like, it's not even... And then now there's another one. They're calling it the Oak Fire. And it's doing the same thing. I was watching footage of that today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and old Sticky Ricky used to always say, man, he said, my old man always told me not to live near a river or anywhere in the forest or woods, just because of floods and fire. And I think that's probably pretty wise words. I mean, because those poor people, I mean, it was a matter of just a couple hours, and that fucking fire was just poof.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking back to the fires of '88 out here when Yellowstone burned up.
Oh.
That was terrible. We had, I mean, I remember going to baseball games. I was in Little League. I was 12. I remember going to baseball games, and the fucking sky was just red, crimson red, and dark all day. And we couldn't even play baseball. We had games canceled. I mean, like, I remember washing my parents' vehicles, and then the next day going out. And
it's the same deal.
Coated in ash. Couldn't breathe. I mean, it was, we didn't know. Like, it was almost like you were living in hell. Yeah. I mean, we left here at one point. My family did, and we went up to Billings, Montana, just to get away from here. And the drive up there was like, it was literally like driving through, like, I mean, as a kid, it seemed like a scene like you're driving to hell, because everything was just dark, red and dark and sooty. And, I mean, the vehicles aren't running good because the air, the air filters are taking in all that ash, and it was weird, man. And we had the same thing happen when I lived in Reno back in the 90s. Yeah. There was a guy that got pissed, and he went out with he was mad about his taxes, and he went out west of Reno with a gas can. Oh my God. And fucking dumped it out and lit up a fucking forest fire. And so, like, we're sitting there at our house, and it was me and my buddy Dave, and there was like, it was me and Dave, and then there was 5 girls that lived in this house. We had a big house. I don't know how we got the house. Yeah. But because we were like 19, and we just fell into this house. It was in a nice neighborhood. It was a big house. It was an awesome deal. We were all paying like $120 a month or whatever. And everybody had a room. Like, yeah. And Dave and I, being the only dudes, like, we had the garage, and then we would climb up on the roof of the garage and sit up there and drink beer and shit. And that night that fire started, man, it started coming in on like West McCarran and getting close, and then like the firefighters came by, and they were like, you guys need to get it, you need to evacuate. And of course we're dumb. The girls, they all take off, and we jump in Dave's truck and fucking go drive right into the fucking fire like idiots. We're out there driving through it, man, and it was just like oh my God! I remember the
flames is like
it was just all red. The earth was just red. It was like a scene from hell. Yeah, and we got back. We made it out. Of fucking idiots. We're sitting there driving around in that shit.
Wait, did you drive back to the house?
Yeah, we went out towards the fire because it was coming towards us, and they were actually coming through the neighborhood and evacuating people. Yeah. And they like came up to the door, and they're like, you guys need to leave. Yeah. And we're like, okay, yeah. And the girls, they're smart. They get in their cars and they go to a hotel or wherever they went, and we jump in his truck and drive right into it. I mean, I remember we're out there on these, just driving through.
Oh, my God.
And the firefighters are all looking at us like, what the fuck is wrong with you idiots? We're just sitting there drinking beer and shit, and driving down.
Oh, my God.
But that same summer, these kids were catching lizards down in Carson City, Nevada, and they were dousing them in gas and lighting them on fire. Now, that's some twisted shit.
Yeah.
But one of the lizards, they doused it in gas, lit it on fire, and it ran up a dead pine tree and lit it on fire, and it started a huge forest fire. It burnt down millions and millions of dollars worth of homes. Like, the parents went up on charge, like they were getting charged because their kids did it, and I mean, I can't even imagine.
It's not the parents' fault, it's
right? But they're minor children and they're in their care. So I mean, if I remember right, that's kind of how it went. But there was like big, huge homes. I mean, that's right at the foot of going up to Tahoe. I'd have to look that one up. That was a crazy one there, man. It's weird how these fires start.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, you never know what starts them, really. I mean, most of the time it's just I remember, well, there was one when I was a kid that I'm not even, somebody had a gas can and was playing games around the campfire, and, the gas got splashed and started a pine snag on fire, and it was one of those summers where it was super hot and everything, and we were going down to the river with these buckets, and we got it put out, but it was really close. But I'm trying to remember. There was another one where this character, we were up camping, and he was drinking Everclear, and so thought it was awesome to sit there and take a swig and
oh my God, no,
and do the and on the fire. Well, his whole face went up, and luckily nothing else did.
Yeah.
Oh, I think what happened, I think there was a gas can there that actually went up. Like, we were running, we all ran and like jumped in the wood, and that gas can, boom, up in the middle of the woods. It's stupid. Anyway.
Oh my God.
So the moral of the story, people, is be careful out there.
Yeah.
During the summertime. I mean, who knows what started this one up there in California that's going on right now. I mean, it could be, who knows? I mean, lizards, people mad about taxes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just silly that I never dealt with a fire, but I did deal with hurricanes in Miami.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I was in Hurricane Andrew.
Yeah.
Only one I've ever been in. And that was scary.
Oh, yeah.
And we got out of there before it actually got bad, but it was bad enough. I mean, my dad and I, we were in Orlando. And we were staying at one of the Disney resorts, so it didn't hit Orlando that badly. But being from Wyoming, I mean, we were out playing golf, and all of a sudden the winds came up, and I mean, those palm trees are like,
yep.
And we hadn't been there for that long. We were supposed to be there for like a week, and we were there for a couple of days, and we were having a good time too, man.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "We're getting out of here." And we jumped in the rental car and went to the airport. There were people like sleeping in the airport that couldn't get on flights. We were able to get on ours and get the fuck out of there. Because I just don't think many people were going back to like Billings. No. We flew out of Billings, And I mean, I remember looking at those people that were just stranded, just sleeping in the airport, and I was like, holy shit. And it was a rough takeoff and everything, but we got out like,
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't hit Orlando that badly, but for us, it was.
Yeah.
And for everybody else too, people were getting the hell out. I mean, I'll bet Miami was crazy. I'll bet Miami was crazy.
It was my sophomore year, and then I start hearing these sirens go off, and I'm like, I was in class, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What do you do?
And then all these people are starting to get into their dorm rooms, and I'm like, okay. And then they hired some people to come into our dorm rooms and put the wood on the...
Oh, yeah. On the windows?
Yep.
Wow. How high were the dorms? You had to have been in like some...
No, I was in a dorm that had 12 floors, and I lived on the 3rd floor.
So how are were they putting the wood on the inside of the windows?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I was going to say that.
Yeah, no.
You wouldn't want to be up there in a man lift with on the outside.
No.
So they were ready to lose the glass.
Yeah.
Did the glass get blown out?
Not of my room, but other rooms, yeah.
That's weird when you're in a position like that in college.
Yeah.
Like I had that happen. I went to the University of South Dakota my freshman year, which is in the southeast corner of South Dakota, like 30 miles from Sioux City, Iowa, right down in the corner. And the weather got weird out there. And it'll come back, maybe. All right, it's back. Yeah, way small victories. Yeah. Tiny explosions. So we had a freak ice storm come through there that year, and it like took the power out in like 4 states. And I mean, it was terrible. We were stuck in that dorm. It was an old ass dorm, old cinder block dorm.
Yeah.
And we had no heat. We had no power. It was cold, man.
Yeah.
It was brutal. And the classes were canceled. And I mean, like, you look outside and I mean, the ice was so bad that, I mean, it would accumulate on all the power lines and the poles and shit. And it was just trees just taking them down. All that weight. It was, that was a shitty week.
The time we got hit by the hurricane in Miami, I mean, the classes got canceled for a couple of weeks, and I was like, the damage isn't so bad. And professors were like, "Are you insane?" It's like,
yeah. What did you do for? I mean, you couldn't go to the cafeteria or anything. I mean,
no, they just brought food to the dorms, and
who was stuck with that duty? Who got to go out there and the cafeteria staff, the lunch lady?
Yeah.
I can't imagine they were, I mean, that must have sucked.
But yeah, it was miserable.
Which hurricane was that?
Let me check.
Would that have been, what year?
It was 2003.
Okay, so that would have, oh, God, which one would that have been?
Let me check.
Who knows? I don't like the idea of hurricanes. That's the one. I mean, if I was going to move to a different state, then I would go to Florida. But that's the one thing to me that just like is like a deal breaker is the hurricane season.
Yeah,
it's just like, no, I'm not playing with hurricanes. You know. I mean, the last time I was down there was 2017, and we went out to New Smyrna Beach, and I don't remember which hurricane it had just hit right then, but there were contractors everywhere. These homes on the beach. I mean, I was talking to some locals. I mean, they were like, "You're a contractor. You would make so much money and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
You know? I mean, at this point in time, I mean, if it ever happens again, I may just grab my trailer and. I mean, 'cause I was watching dudes. I mean, they said they were making money hand over fist, and you don't want to capitalize on the misery of others, but it's just insurance money, you know.
I think it was Hurricane Isabel.
Oh yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that was a Were there a lot of kids that stayed at the school, or did people just go home?
No, most people stayed at the school unless they happened to live in the state, and they just went home. But yeah,
at the University of Miami, there's obviously got to be more in-state students.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it's kind of funny because some people who live in state, they live in New York, and then they just yeah.
Were your parents worried about you?
A little bit.
Did you lose your phone and all that?
Yeah.
I mean, phone lines went down.
Yeah.
And so in 2003, I guess you'd have had a cell phone, but the cell phone towers would have been down.
Yeah,
too.
it was down as well.
That's what I was in an earthquake. I've been in a tornado. I've been in a hurricane and an earthquake. You've probably been in earthquakes.
Oh my God, so many. City. Yeah, it's crazy. It's probably 2 or 3 per year.
I was in the one in 2001, and it was February 28th, 2001, Seattle. And that was, everybody's phone went out.
Yeah.
You know, and that was when phones were just becoming kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody had a phone at that point. They didn't have games. You didn't have internet on them.
You just had to have your phone.
Wasn't even a thing. You could just call people. Everybody had a flip phone. And everybody's phone went dead. When that thing hit, it's weird when you're in an event like that, like a natural event that just like makes you realize how small you are. That's what I felt like in that situation, and the tornado I was in too. But that one in Seattle, man, I remember after that had stopped. after the Earth had stopped going.
Yeah.
Just sitting there thinking, holy shit, I'm just a fucking little ant.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean anything. Like, Mother Nature is like, when she's had enough, it's like,
Yeah.
think about, like, Pompeii.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, it's crazy.
Finding those people buried in, they're just...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Frozen in
the
place.
statues are like, yeah.
Yeah, frozen. They're just like, that's it. I mean... I would imagine in a big fire like that too.
And then 9/11, it's like,
oh God, that's just
yeah.
I mean, we all got to go. We none of us have a choice. We all get out. I mean, we all got that at the end of it. But fuck, to have that happen.
No, but let me say that was like the second week I had been in the United States.
Oh shit!
And then that shit happened. It's like,
well, didn't those guys come through Florida too?
I don't know. No. Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they do? I thought they went to like flight school down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I swear, I was just enjoying life, and then it's like, fuck.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, I remember. That's one of those times where you remember exactly where you're at. I remember exactly where I was at, and I happened to have been staying up playing guitar and doing some of that booger sugar all night. You know.
Yeah.
And I had to work, and I remember just sitting there, and I had the TV on, you know, getting dressed for work, and having been up all night.
Yeah.
Regaling, being a young man, and then all of a sudden it was just like, what the fuck just happened? I remember the first thing I said, what the fuck did our government just do to us? And I mean, that's not conspiracy theory related, or that was just my first reaction.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, we obviously pissed somebody off enough for that to happen. There's just, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but what a crazy thing, man.
See, it's like, for me, I had gone out with my roommate the previous night, with my roommate and other friends. My roommate was passed out drunk on his bed. And I had class that morning at 8 a.m. And I turned on the TV quickly, and then I'm like, wait, did a plane just hit the World Trade Center?
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I wake up my roommate, and I'm like, dude, a plane just hit the World Trade Center. He's like, come on, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because his parents lived in New York. And,
oh, shit.
Yeah. And he's like, shut the fuck up. No plane hit the World Trade Center. I was like, dude, it just happened.
And then came the number 2.
Yeah.
That
and
was
then
crazy.
we watched.
There,
we watched the second plane hit the second building, and we were like, both like,
yeah, we had a whole crew in Eugene, Oregon. We were painting a huge old folks home, and I was just sitting there, and I had the TV on, and I wasn't really paying much attention, but I was still up, and the guy that was staying in a room with me, we were all in hotels, you know, he's sleeping, and I'm like hitting him and waking him. I'm like, dude, I'm like, Steve, wake the fuck up, man. Look, I said, dude, this guy, he gets up, he's like, what are you talking about, man? I'm like, look at this shit. And he's just like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Like, everybody was, you know, we had like 12 people down there, so I was going from room to room, like, did you see, what the fuck is, you know, and so we were just glued to the TV.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't start work on time.
No.
And we watched the second one, and then we were just so, like, you know, the guy that was you know, the foreman, he was like, we got to go to work, and, like, we had a big cube van that had all our paint and paint pumps and shit, and it had a stereo in it. It's kind of like my trailer, only it was, you know, just a big moving van, like a big U-Haul almost. Yeah. But it had all our tools and shit, and there was a radio in there. And we got to the job, and we just sat in there. Yeah. Like, literally, like, all fucking morning, like, just listening, I mean, it was great. And then my girlfriend calls me and tells me that her parents were supposed to have been flying out of New York City that morning.
Oh, my God.
Now, they got out of there.
Okay, good.
And were fine, but, I mean...
Yeah, it's like the tension that you're feeling. It's like...
Yeah, she was just completely... She didn't know. She hadn't talked to him. She didn't know if they had you know... Yeah. And it was like, shit, you know?
No, see, for me, I actually went to class that morning at 8 a.m. And halfway through class, the teacher interrupts the class, and she's like, just go back to your rooms right now.
And George Bush was in Florida at the time, too. He was reading to those little kids.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a weird reaction, wasn't it, that he had?
Yeah, it's like he just kept reading, and then they tell him he's here, and it's like...
Yeah, and
he's just like,
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Watching his... and then the fact that he was sitting there at the White House that night after they flew him out, and he was sitting there with one of the Saudi Arabian princes. Prince, they called him Bandar Bush. He's sitting there smoking cigars with this guy, and come to find out, Saudi Arabia, like, what, 9 out of the 11, or however many, the majority of those hijackers were Saudi
terrorists.
And Saudi Arabian. And then Biden, he's over there doing fist bumps with the motherfuckers the other day, and it's like, these are the motherfuckers that did that shit. And he said, like, Biden said, like, you know, that he was going to treat them like the pariah that they were. And then he's over there begging for and then he comes back with motherfucking COVID.
I know.
You know? I mean, you know, they didn't give him the time of day, man. He's over there. I mean, he's like telling them, oh, it's not about begging. You know, we're not looking for oil and blah, blah, blah.
Really?
Bullshit.
Exactly. It's like...
That's the only... Well, I mean, think about how much money we spent on that stupid shit to go over there, too. I mean, that Air Force One is... I mean...
Oh, yeah.
For him to go to his Delaware beach house on the weekends, like he does every Friday morning at like 11 a.m., and then comes into work late on Monday morning. Now he's back in his basement where he was during the election. That's neither here nor there. But... It's $3 million a day. $3 million a day just in Secret Service. Just in Secret Service to watch him fall off his bike. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
Think about what that money does to homeless people, to hungry people, to kids that don't have clothes or food to eat. Mm-hmm. And we're spending, as the taxpayers, $3 million a day just in Secret Service. So that mushhead can go fucking ride around on his fucking bicycle
and fall
down and not figure out how to even fucking... I mean, when the bike stops, you need to get... like, you got to put a foot down, Joe. I mean... You know, and he watched his wife. She's walking into some place yesterday or whatever. They're yelling, "You suck. Your husband sucks. You owe us gas money." They're fucking screaming at her. She's like, "Thank you." She's waving. I swear to God, she looks like fucking Alice Cooper, man. Jesus. I mean... She's got to tell that moron what to do every step. Like, it was fucking... What day was it?
Yeah.
She had to tell him, say, "God bless America." He's like, huh? You know, and she had to say it. I mean, what a nightmare.
I swear, Joe Biden is fucking losing it. It's like...
He's already lost it. It's gone. There ain't no losing it, man. It's gone. That shit is fucking out there. Like, it's done. Like, that dude is, I mean, he's in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 80 fucking years old. He can't even walk, dude. He walks like a... I mean, he can't... You didn't watch him go over there to you know, he shows up in Israel and he talks about the honor of the Holocaust. he mistakes that with horror.
Yeah.
He's reading off his teleprompter.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
And he says, "End of script. Return to repeat. End of script. Repeat the line." And then they try to play it off like that was on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what he was supposed to. It's like,
no.
It's like, dude, come on. It's just like watching these idiots we were watching, you know, earlier.
It's like it says to repeat the script.
Yeah.
It's like
in parentheses. It's got the brackets around it. Yeah, like the triangle brackets. It's like fucking, you know, that's obviously not what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
It's the total Anchorman thing where, you know, what was that on Anchorman? Where he's like,
Will Ferrell,
he's like, so stay classy and fuck you, San Diego. And they're like, oh my God, don't you know he'll read anything that's on that teleprompter? And he goes out to that restaurant where he always, like, where he's playing jazz flute, and the guy's like, making him eat cat poop. He's like, "You eat this cat poop, Ron Burgundy." He's like, "No, I will not eat that cat poop."
Yeah. Oh
That's
my God.
Joe Biden, though. They said he'll read whatever the fuck is on that thing. I mean, we should find a clip of that.
Wait,
but you know.
Whatever happened to Kamala Harris? I mean,
she's... I don't know. They've denoted a term for what she does, and they're calling it a word salad. Because she gets up there and just repeats the same shit over and over again. like the significance of the passage of time.
Like,
That was the worst thing. But there's even worse one. I mean, there's one where she was in Jamaica talking about rebuilding Jamaica. That, I mean, she's got so many of them. She just repeats, and then she laughs.
yeah.
She cackles. Like she's over there in Poland, and they're asking her a question about what is the United States stance going to be on Ukrainian refugees that have been, that are in crisis from the war over there. And what is and she looks at the Polish prime minister, president, and she like, and then she says, well, a friend in need is a friend indeed. And starts, I mean, it's like, you're talking about people's lives here. You're talking about women and
every
children.
Position that they had is destroyed, and
if there were men that were of fighting age and ability, they had to stay, and so they're being torn from their families. Like the amount of people that were just hauling ass to the border to get the fuck out of there, and then the men are being turned around. They're like, "No, you can fight. You're staying here." And they're looking at they're looking at their wives and their kids, and they're going,
I'm sorry.
They're like, they don't know if they're ever going to see them again. And the women and children are
obviously,
they're left to go through these huge lines, and they don't know where they're going to go. They don't know what, I mean, they're refugees. And that's a serious question that's asked her. And she laughs about it. Like she makes a joke about it. And, then like Lester Holt asks her, he says, well, you haven't been to the border, talking about the border. And she goes, well, I haven't been to Europe either. And starts cackling. What kind of fucking answer is that? Well, yeah, you caught me. I lied about this one, but I didn't. God. But I could lie about that one too. I mean, it's like what? Who answers it like that?
Yeah.
And then they try and say Joe Biden had been to the border, and it was during the Barack Obama campaign. He'd driven through Texas. Like like this was back in like
8 years ago.
Yeah, it's like, okay, dude. Like he still hasn't been down there.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going on down there. Nobody. I mean, there's been a number of politicians that have gone down there.
No, but let me guess, he probably doesn't even know that maybe there's some Americans who live on the other side of the border and they just come here and work every day, and it's like,
right? Yeah,
he has no fucking clue about that. It's like,
well, and what about all the the Americans that are moving to Mexico?
Yeah,
because things have gotten so bad here. I mean. And not to say that, Mexico would be cool, but I mean, they're going down there and displacing people that live in Mexico from their home. I mean, people from America are going down there. There's a reverse migration going on now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, I guess there's a number of schools of thought on the whole thing with a border.
Yeah.
I feel like personally that, if you were just to say fuck the borders and who gives a shit and let people go where they're going to go, then people are going to go where they fit in, where they feel comfortable, where they can live happily. And if, too many people end up in one area, then you're going to, I mean, it really is kind of, you think about the concept of a border and to me, it seems kind of silly. It's like we are all human beings on this earth, right?
Yeah.
We are on a stone, literally on a stone. We're on a marble that's flinging itself around a fucking ball of fire that could kill us.
Yeah.
It will kill us. Either it explodes or it fucking just burns out. Either way, we're done. Mm-hmm. And we're here for a fraction of a second of time.
Yep.
Right? Like, talk about the significance of the passage of time. I mean, literally, it's like that.
Yeah.
31 years old. You were almost fucking done and out.
5%.
Every day is a gift now.
Yep.
Every day is a gift now. I mean, I've been in situations I shouldn't have lived through. I mean, I was thinking about doing that today. I was thinking about sitting down today and writing, about all the times that I should have never made it through. And I start thinking about it, and I go, Jesus Christ, I mean, and then you think, you start looking at it, and
let me say, it's like, I mean, when I had the operation, it's like, I asked the doctor, what are my chances of making it? He's like, 5%. I was like, what?
That's brutal. That was the same with my brother when he had a subdural hematoma.
Yeah.
And they said it was like a 10% chance that he was going to survive it. and he's in. I mean, I can't even imagine being on the other end of that, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're going in and you're just trusting that. I mean, at least I guess you know that you're going to be put under.
No, but the doctor didn't even know what state I was going to be in if I woke up. So it's like...
They didn't even know they didn't even know what they were even getting into, because you said they had, what, 6 procedures planned?
Yeah, they had 6 procedures planned, but then after the first one...
They realized they had to do it, right? Yeah, so, I mean, you're going into a situation just like... They don't know. That's hurly-burly right there. They don't know what's up. You don't know what's up.
Yeah.
Your wife and,
they don't know.
She's sitting there. I mean, I mean, so you understand more so than anybody about the fragility of our existence and this the idea of these borders and stuff. I mean, it really does seem silly, because we have silly idiots that are like in charge of this country that we pay. We pay these idiots.
Yeah.
We pay these morons that we watch on the news that we bitch about all day. Because they're just morons.
Yeah.
Just like us. I mean, people are just fucking stupid. We watch all this shit with these January 6th morons that go in and do what they did. And then we spend millions on these stupid fucking hearings.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the orange guy to run again. Well, if democracy was such a good thing, right? Then it wouldn't matter if the orange guy ran again, because if he was so bad, then he wouldn't win. But the fact of the matter is the other side is even worse than the orange man, because look at what happened in 2016. And that never should have happened.
Yeah, and what have they done ever since they took power? Nothing.
They haven't done, but the Republicans didn't do anything when Trump won either. They had power, they had the majority, and they fucked it off. They were supposed to do something with health care, which they didn't do. They can't get anything done because they're all a bunch of idiots. And, it's just stupid. And so to sit there and sing proud to be an American or have this national pride, to be a nationalist is the most stupid fucking thing in the world. Because you're sitting there and you're taking credit for something that you had nothing to do with. I didn't have anything to do with the fucking Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam.
Yep.
I was born in 1976, and I haven't had anything to do with much of a fucking thing. I mean, it's like, what am I proud of? Why am I proud that I was born on this on this part of when you think about it, like with the state board, like any borders, like I can go and take 1 foot step into Colorado and sit there and smoke a joint, no big deal. I take a step backwards into Wyoming,
no, you're in trouble.
I can get fucking arrested and thrown in fucking prison. How stupid is that? It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And then we want to, you make fun of people because they're from a certain state, and it's like we're all from the same fucking place. We all live on this rock. We have a precariously short amount of time here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were able to ask any of the people that lost their lives in any of these recent mass shootings, the big one, but they happen every day. But if you were to ask some of those people, say the people that were in that grocery store in Buffalo, if they were able to come back and speak to you, what do you think they would say? They would say, you know what? You need to just love one. You need to love one another. I think you need to love one another. You need to be compassionate towards one another. You need to care about each other, If we don't do that, we say that because somebody is from an imaginary line on the other side of that imaginary line, that all of a sudden they're trivialized because they're people trying to find a better life for themselves, people that are fleeing horrible situations and scenarios, and instead of using that as an opportunity, and it's all part of the system is the thing, because people, I think inherently people have the desire to do good. Yeah. Like I think that the majority of the people in this country, if you're talking about them interacting with a migrant who's coming across the border from Mexico, they're disheveled, poor, tired, hungry, cold, wore out, whatever. Yeah. I think the majority of the people in this country, if that's a one-on-one basis, they are going to help that person. I think that inherently people are, I gotta believe that inherently people are good. Yeah. I try to do that whenever I can with any situation with somebody. If I can help them out, I do. And I think that most people are that way. But then you throw this nationalist, this whole, fucking stand for the flag song and do goofy shit, and pledge allegiance to. I mean, I'm sorry, I have a hard time with that. I mean, the Pledge of Allegiance, I don't see much in this country that I want to pledge allegiance to.
No, but I swear, it makes me laugh that when I went down to do the citizenship interview, and I was talking to the girl, and she was like, I mean, she was just doing her job, and she's like, all right, tell me your story. Why do you want citizenship in the U.S.? And I was like, you got half an hour, and she's like, sure, yeah, I've got all day. And I started telling her the story about how I suffered the brain surgery and everything, and she's like, hold on. She's like, you went through all that? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, just give me 10 minutes. And she came back and she's like, just raise your right arm and you say the Pledge of Allegiance right now.
Oh, that's crazy.
And ever since that moment, I've been a citizen of the U.S., but it's like, you don't have to go through all the bullshit that we make the rest of the people go through. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, you've got people that have been in this country for 20 years that are still trying, and they can't, I mean, you're talking about people that are integral parts of the community.
Yeah.
People that do necessary jobs day in and day out, take care of their families, pay bill. I mean, they do everything and yet because you came from the other side of this imaginary line, you can't be one of us. You can't. I mean, one of us should be anybody on this planet. Human beings. Any human being should be one of us.
Let me say that it makes me laugh that the girl who interviewed me, she was from Russia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. And she was an immigrant, and this is where she met her husband, and now they're married. But it's like...
So was her path to citizenship through getting married?
I have no idea, but it's like...
because I mean, that's an interesting loophole in the whole thing, too, So, like, you just go marry somebody, then...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It just all seems really silly, and passports and the whole thing, it's like... Why? I mean, it's really about the powerful people staying in power is all it's about. It's not about normal everyday people, because people, if there wasn't this power structure, people would take care of one another. People would get along. There wouldn't be the stereotypes.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't speak the same language as somebody else. You're going to sit down and you're going to fucking you're going to talk to them. And
you're going to signal something.
I've done that. Yeah. I mean, that's how I learned to start speaking Spanish, was from working with guys that were from Oaxaca and fucking Jalisco and shit, and that had got off a fucking boat or whatever and ended up on my paint crew. And to work with these guys, I had to be able to communicate, So I'd pick up a nail and be like, clavo?
Yeah.
And they got, and I'd be like, nail.
Clavo.
And then, you look at a door, la puerta?
Yeah.
And see, la puerta, and door.
Yeah.
And I mean, those guys I became great friends with.
Yeah.
I mean, and had wonderful experiences working with those cats, because guess what? At lunchtime, I got to go to they take me to some of the best taco vans and shit that you didn't even know existed, man. And I mean, I got to the point where I could go up and order my food in Spanish. I could, I could speak it because I was working with these guys every day, and they were learning English, right?
Yeah.
Like, these guys are learning to speak English. I'm learning to speak Spanish, and a lot of those guys, we turned out to be great friends, and still are friends, and that's what people do when you don't have these fucking goofy fucking these things that are put
the government,
and it's all fucking just stupid, I mean, and it's like, proud to be an American.
No,
you were just born here, dude. You didn't fucking do anything. You got spit out your mom.
Yeah,
she just boom, and out she came, and now you're proud to be here. Why? You could have been. You could have been born anywhere.
Yep.
I mean, it's just so fucking dumb. And people get mad at me when I express these opinions, but I quite frankly think that it's just absolutely stupid. And it's just it's such a stupid concept when you really break it down to what it is.
No, but let me say, that day after I drove back from the interview, I was talking to my wife on the phone, and she's like, wait, so when is your next appointment that you have to go and take the pledge? And I was like, it's done. And she's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's like, done. It's over. Yeah, it's like, it took place already. She's like, no fucking way. And I was like, yes, wait. It's like, I'm an American now.
Yeah, and you look at it like, I mean, look, you and I are friends.
Yeah.
What were the possibilities that you and I would be like if I were to ask you when you were 15 years old, or say when you just went to college, that you would be sitting here in Cody, Wyoming, in a studio with some guy that that came in the liquor store and said, I'm doing a podcast, and we'd be hanging out and be friends. I mean, what is the possibility? No. There's the possibility is so infinitesimally small. It's way under 1%. We should not even know one another.
Yeah.
But through just speaking with people, and just talking to people, that's the thing, It's like, I mean, when I had been in there a couple of times, talked to you here and there, I was like, I just like, you've got a story to tell. And wasn't that what I first told you? I said, I know you got a story to tell, and you're looking at me like, who the fuck is this crazy motherfucker? And sure enough, you come here and blow my mind with your fucking, you tell me your life story, and I'm just like, fucking blown away, dude. I'm like, holy shit. And here we are.
Yeah.
Like, and now we're talking about going on a trip to Mexico City together.
That's right.
I mean, how crazy is life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. And if you open yourself up to the possibilities, and you open yourself up to people, and you're willing to speak with people and, share your story, who you are. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I mean, I know so many people that I should have never met in life.
Yeah.
And it's just through, being willing to talk to somebody, being willing to, I mean, and it's not about, it's just like be a fucking human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what irritates me so much, is it's like these people that we watch, like, we watch these idiots that we got up here that are so mad.
Politicians.
Well, they're so mad about it too, that they decide to just break into, the Capitol and act like a bunch of fucking morons. And I mean, the people need counseling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need counseling. They don't need to be locked. These people need like they need professional help.
Yeah.
I mean,
for real.
But I feel like so many of them got people get wrapped into behaviors because they don't have the courage or the wherewithal to stand up and say, no, this isn't right. Instead, they just go with the flow. I mean, who the fuck would want to go fight in a fucking war?
No one.
I mean, look at these poor kids that fucking join the military and they get fucking shipped over. I mean, if we're going to have a war, it should be the fucking president of our country versus the president of their country.
Yeah.
And it should be in a ring, and they should have like a celebrity death match,
Yeah.
I mean, let them have a wrestling match or whatever, I mean, something like that. Why do you send a nation's young people to be slaughtered? Look at how many young people died in World War I, World War II, Vietnam.
Well, the president is just sitting here, and it's like, okay, see ya.
He doesn't. His kids aren't going.
Yeah,
he ain't going. He doesn't give a shit. They're making money off of it. And meanwhile, your kids are just, here you go. Get on a fucking plane and go fly over here to this place and go kill brown people that you don't know. I mean, what kind of sense does that really make? Is there any logic in that? Think about that. Can you imagine? I mean, I had a number of people, well, you should join the military. I said, fuck no. And nothing against anybody in the military. I'm not saying anything against anybody in the, but I mean, my point of view on the whole thing is like, if you want to say, you want to talk about supporting our troops, bring them the fuck home. Don't send them over to these, these fucking oil wars and the it's all just about the oligarchs making money. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, and then, I mean, young people are brainwashed into thinking that, they're going to go over there and fight some enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, what makes you or I any different from any person of the same age in Afghanistan, Iraq, Yemen, any of these war-torn nations, Syria? I mean, nothing. Yeah. There's nothing that separates us from, I mean, Sure, we might have different cultures and different lifestyles and eat different, but I mean, at the end of the day,
we're all the same.
At the end of the day, what do we want? We just want to live in peace.
Yeah.
We want to raise decent children. We want to have we want to live our life and do the things that we want to do and hopefully not, get shot in a goddamn mass shooting in Walmart. Else. Yeah. We don't. I mean, who wants to go kill somebody? I mean, there are psychopaths out there that.
But it's like the 0.0001%.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then we've got the shootings and shit that are going on in this country, and we can't fucking figure out an answer, and we're stupid because this whole gun control shit is
bullshit.
That ain't it. That's not it. What are you gonna do? There's ghost guns out there. There's more guns than there are people in this country. You're never going to get rid of them. And the people that are going to be psychopaths are going to be psychopaths regardless of
even if you laws. Take the guns away.
Look at the psychopaths that pulled off these shootings. All of them had guns that they obtained legally. The recent ones, the big, you don't hear about the others. You've got the ones that make the headlines, but there's a mass shooting in this country every fucking day.
Yeah.
Now, there's a problem there. Now, what is it? It's not the guns that's the fucking problem. The problem is we've got a societal problem. Yeah. We have people that get lost, people that slip through the cracks that are, that don't have somebody say, I love you.
Yeah.
That don't have somebody care about them, that don't have somebody to pick them up when they fall down. Instead, they get made fun of. They get, chastised online on social media, whatever the situation may be. And we let those people slip through the fucking cracks, and nobody gives a shit about them. And then you end up with these tragedies that happen. And then you blame it on the guns. Well, guess what? That kid in Texas, he could have gone into that fucking classroom with a fucking buck knife.
Yeah.
And shut the door, and he could have done just as much damage that he did with that AR-15.
Yeah.
And the fucking fact that those cops sat out there for 77 minutes and let him sit in there, they're so chicken shit.
Mind blowing. It's like they could have broken into the room. It's like
easily. The door wasn't even locked.
Yeah.
Turned out the door wasn't even locked. The one guy I watched him, and I'm gonna call him out again. His name was David Coronado, and he had a fucking body cam on. This fucking fat son of a bitch. He's running up in there, and he's so out of shape that he can't even breathe. He goes in the door, and he bitches out, and he turns back around and goes outside, and then for the rest of the video, he proceeds to just stand outside and talk on the radio. And there's another guy at the corner of the building. He's a fat little fuck, and he's sitting there. He's got his gun drawn one minute, and he doesn't, and he's looking, and he doesn't even move. He just stands outside. He's just hoping that he isn't in the line of fire, right? You got kids in there. You can hear those shots ringing out. Kids are being fucking picked
murdered
off.
Yeah.
And you're sitting out there like a bitch, and you are a cop. You are a police officer. You took an oath.
Exactly. To go in there and protect
and you
them.
have a vest on.
Yeah.
You have a service weapon. And they said, well, we only had our service weapons, and he had an AR. An AR-15 is a souped-up 22. That kid had no training. He would have shit his pants had a real man just walked in there with a gun leveled on him and been like, dude, you're going, he probably would have dropped his gun.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've said, I would have gone on there with this. I've been like, you better fucking, you better not shake, motherfucker. And these guys, and 17 of those cops, there were 376 officers showed up at that fucking school.
What?
Yeah. 376 was the number. That's
all
what I was.
Take down one kid,
and then they begged with him. That Pete Adorando, the chief of police, sat out there and called him sir and begged with him to put down his firearm and stop. There was a little girl in there. They said, "Now this is I can't verify this. This is what I've, this is information I've gained through." The media, the internet, everything else. So, but they said that there was one girl that called 911 3 times, and the third time she called, he heard her talking, and he shot and killed her. And a bunch of those kids bled out. They could have gotten them on. I mean, if they had gone in, they could have gotten them onto ambulances and gotten them to hospitals, gotten blood transfusions, and saved a lot of lives. The 2 teachers that died were the last 2. I thought the teachers were the first ones who were probably killed, but
exactly.
They said that they weren't, and that the teachers bled out. So with 77 minutes of time, you know, and being shot with, an AR bullet, they tumble, and so they do some damage, and especially for a little kid. I mean, you're talking fourth graders, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and they're sitting there bleeding out, and they could have gone in there, and so what? A police officer or two gets shot. You catch I mean, I guarantee not a one of them probably would have been killed.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got their tactical gear. They had the shields. I mean, you catch one in the leg or the shoulder, the arm.
Yeah.
And you're going in there and to save a life.
You kill that motherfucker.
You save a life. Those guys have to live with that their entire life now too. And I think every one of them should resign in shame.
Yeah.
I think any officer that was there, other than the Border Patrol agent that happened to be getting a haircut, whose wife was a teacher, and sent him a text message and said, "Active shooter, help, I love you." And he looked at his barber and said, "Do you have a gun?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "Let's go." And they grabbed the shotgun, and he went in and got kids out of there. You know, he didn't have any of his gear, nothing. And he went in. He went in and got kids out. There was a mother. They arrested her.
What?
They put her in handcuffs and put her in the back of a fucking cop car because she had 2 sons in that building. And
so how do they want her to act?
But then they let her. For some reason they let her out. I don't know if they were like, "Well, listen, are you going to play nice now?" Because she was trying to go in and they weren't going to let. So they cuffed her and put her in the back of a car.
But how do they want?
Right, and then they tased parents. They tased some of them. And then, so they let this woman out, and I don't remember the name. I've mentioned her name before, and I think she's a hero, and I think she should be the new fucking police chief in fucking Uvalde. But they let her out. They took the cuffs off. Guess what she did?
Tried to go in again.
She went in and got her boys out.
Yeah.
And she got the other kids out, too. She was a fucking hero. She had more balls and tenacity
than all the cops.
They're supposed to have all this training and shit. And I'm not trying to,
no.
But, I'm not talking bad about, police. I know it's a tough job.
Yeah.
But those guys down there, what the fuck was going on? What the fuck was going on?
Yeah.
I've talked to officers here about how they would handle that shit, and they're like, no, straight up. I'm like, what would you do if their police chief told you not to go in?
I'd go in.
They said no. They said no. We go in there, and if there's somebody in there and we hear shots going off on our kids of our community, we are going in, and we don't give a shit. We are taking them down. If they take us down, then the next guy's coming.
Yeah.
And they're willing to, I knew that would be their answer because I know a lot of these guys in this town, and they're good dudes, and I know how they would, I knew before I asked the questions how they would answer that, and it's like, what the fuck was going on down there? It's like, I don't get it, man. Something was fucked up. It was like too many coincidences of fuck-ups and just to not even have one guy out of all of them just say, fuck this, I'm going in after this motherfucker. To be that chicken shit?
Even I, as a civilian, get upset at fucking cops who don't do their jobs. It's like, just give me a gun and I'll go kill that motherfucker. It's simple.
I would have gone in with my bare hands.
Yeah.
Straight up. That dude would not have known what to do. I can guarantee it because I've been around people like that.
Yeah.
I've seen people like that they're bullies and they might have a one-up on you. But the thing is they don't know what to do when they're confronted with somebody who's determined to make sure that they're not going to fucking pull some shit like, that kid would have shit his pants. Had one man gone in that room with an air of like, you are not, this is done.
Yeah.
Like, and, gone in with, that air of confidence of I don't give a shit. Fucking start squeezing that trigger, motherfucker. Yeah. By the time I get you, I'm going to take that thing and I'm going to beat you with it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have hit you.
No,
There's no way.
That's all he would have taken. It's like,
I've had dudes pull guns on me before. You walk right at them. It's like, you going to do okay, this, you ready? You ready to, and they start shaking and shit and fucking, I've been there.
Yeah.
You can't, and especially to have a job like that, you have to understand that when that time comes, when that moment, and it's easy to sit here and say that, but guess what? I've been in those life and death situations. I've been through it. I know how I personally react to them, and I'm not even the least bit fearful of it, but these guys that are supposedly, supposed to have gone through all this training and to sit there and let 19 kids and 2 teachers fucking die. And then you think of the aftermath with the families and all the people that this affects.
No.
It's not just, it's not just the children that were lost. It's you've got parents that are, you're going to have a lot of suicides down there.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to be morose about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those guys that were fucking law enforcement that were on the scene, I mean, the average life expectancy of a federal correctional officer after they retire is only 2 years. And I would venture to guess that it's similar amongst law enforcement. And if you were in that situation, I mean, think about those guys they got to sit there and think about this now every day. That's on their head. There's 21 deaths on their hands, 19 of them for little children. And they got to.
And even if they try to ignore it.
And they got to sit there and deal with the fact that they sat out in that fucking hallway and they didn't have the stones to fucking go in that door, especially when the door's unlocked.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. And even if the door's locked,
you just break the lock.
You go outside. You go outside and you shoot the window out and you jump in the fucking window. It's a single-story building, for fuck's sake. That kid, when he showed up, he was shooting through the windows.
Yeah.
I mean, you shoot out. You take a rock.
It's like
whatever, dude. You take your nightstick, you fucking bash your flashlight.
Yeah.
What a fucking key. I mean,
anything. It's like,
dude, I have a nail punch on a spring that I can put up to a window and just pull that, and it'll shatter it.
It's a regular window. It's not like
it's not bulletproof.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't go in. Nobody thinks to go around the backside of the fucking and go in that way. You let that guy sitting there for 77 fucking minutes. And then there was a guy that had the opportunity to take him down, and he called in to ask permission.
What?
Yeah, there was a cop that had him in his sights, and he fucking radios in, and nobody responds, so he lets him go in the school. You see a dude dressed up in tactical gear with an AR-15 that's obviously shot up the windows. He's fired shots at a fucking funeral home. His truck is fucking bashed up in a ditch. And he's going stomping in that school, and you're calling for permission?
Yeah, no.
Dude, come on.
No. It's like, fuck that dude.
There's something else going on there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and I'm not like subscribing to any kind of conspiracy theories or anything, but something went seriously wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just, I find it hard to believe that many coincidences happened in one scenario when they were 3 minutes behind that guy.
Yeah.
Supposedly, there was a guy there that could have taken him out. The school resource officer drives by the dude and goes and thinks a teacher is the shooter.
What?
You know who the teachers are.
Yeah,
if you're at a little school. You're in a little community, and you're the resource officer at the school. You know what every teacher wore to school that day. I mean, I would imagine, and I'm not a resource officer, and I don't know the regiment of the job or whatever, but I would say that it would mean that you're walking around that school to every classroom. You're going through the entire school. You know every teacher. You know the kids.
I don't know how big is Uvalde.
Staff. It's 15,000 people. So it's
there you go. It's like Cody and a half.
Yeah.
It's like the same deal as Cody. It's like super small.
Yeah.
You know everyone.
Yeah,
so.
And it's a tight-knit community, you know, and it's 54 miles from the border. You're talking about a predominantly Hispanic community, and, the Hispanic people that I know in Hispanic communities in Southern California,
they're nice people,
but they're tight, too.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows everybody, everybody's familiar, you know what I mean? And it's like, and I go there and I get treated that way, and, I mean, they know these are people that know their community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what the fuck happened? I just don't get it.
I have no idea. It's
just so upsetting. And obviously that kid needed some fucking help that he never fucking got.
Yeah.
And maybe he's one of those, you do have the psychopaths, like we're saying, but he was arrested at 14 because him and another dude said that when they graduated high school, they were going to fucking do a mass casualty event in a fucking school. And the kid went to school. He went to grade school there.
Yeah.
Shot his grandma in the face. What's going on? I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's really weird. It's like, is this a Manchurian candidate? What the fuck happened? You got to wonder what happened because he went in for like psych evals and all that shit at 14 years old. How was he able to go and buy 2 AR-15s
Yeah,
in
exactly.
3 days? He bought about $5,000, $6,000 worth of shit in 3 days. That kid didn't have that.
No,
money.
it's
Who
like
bankrolled him?
yeah.
That's what I want. Who bankrolled? I want to know. I'm tempted. I might put in a FOIA, a federal, you can. It's called a FOIA. It's a Information Act, right? So you can request information. I want to know how that kid paid for those firearms and all and the tactical gear and all the rounds. How did he come up with that dough? He obviously didn't have a car. He worked part-time at Wendy's. He was a part-time burger punk at Wendy's. He did not have.
My God.
There ain't no way this kid had $5-6 grand kicking around to go. And then he goes to the same store within 3 days and buys one of those ARs he had was very high end. It was a $2,000, $2,500 firearm. He had. They said that he purchased 300 and some odd rounds and that he had 1,000 of them. And so he had 2 ARs. The tactical gear he was wearing. Yeah. I mean, they said it didn't have plates in there, so he was obviously just trying to look the part. I think he wanted to die. I mean, the kid, they said the kid killed cats, I mean, that's what I told I said, you see anybody that you go to school with that kills domestic animals, I said, you have got to tell me immediately because that's a first sign right there. And all the social media shit that these kids are putting out there, they're just subjected to this crap, and it's just... We got to figure it out, man, because it's not about guns, right? Because these things are going to happen with or without. Yeah. I mean, like I said, that kid could have gone in there with my pocket knife and done the same amount. I mean, how long does it take a grown man to go in and if you were intent on exacting harm on a classroom full of fucking little kids, and you were armed with a pen.
A pen. Yeah.
I mean, you could go in there and
stab people. In the neck. Boom.
Yeah. What's a kid gonna do?
Nothing.
Like, I used to tell my son that when he'd go places. I said, "Dude, I don't want you guys hanging out down there in that, like at the rec center. They got that park that's down in that bowl." Yeah. I said, "Do you know what it would take for a dude that wanted to abduct some kids to park at the bottom of that hill and walk up there and just grab you motherfuckers?" I said, no one can see you guys down there, and that's why you want to hang out there because you're out of view. But, I mean, I told him, I said, what do you I said, if I was some sicko and I wanted to fucking park a van down at the bottom of the hill,
who could
just walk up there, I could come grab 4 of you little shits, and, I mean...
and then taking off. And
it happened here. It happened here. It happened here when I was in prison. That guy abducted that poor little girl, man. Right there at the rec center. And it was at the light, pulled up with a van and said, will you help me find my dog? Stand around outside, she gets in the van. Luckily, a hunter found her after the guy had done what he did to her, and she lived. He was going up, I mean, otherwise, who knows? But, I mean, it's just, I mean, so the guns are not the issue. Yeah. Because these type of things can be carried out any kind of way that somebody wants to. I mean, you can go in there with a baseball bat.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you're talking about somebody that's that much of a coward to go in and exact his revenge on little kids and innocent teachers. Yeah. Like, what's a teacher going to do? I mean, I know a couple teachers that are badasses that would, but... I mean, you go walk in their classroom.
But it's like a
it's
very small percentage. Yeah,
and you go in their classroom without them suspecting you, and you know what you're doing, and you go after them first. They're not going to really have much of a defense. Yeah, so it's not. And my question is, why are we not training people and arming ex-police, ex-military, people that pass a psych eval? Yeah. And putting them in the schools because we guard Hollywood celebrities.
Yeah, exactly.
All our politicians have fucking, they have armed guards. Yeah. And I mean, if we're supposed to guard our treasures, then what's a bigger treasure than our kids? Yeah. And we don't. And we put up a sign that says "gun-free zone." That says, "Come on in." That's all that says. I mean, what's that say to somebody that's a psychopath? Yeah. Ready to do harm. What's that say? That says, green light. That's all it is, man. It's crazy. I didn't mean to get off on this. No. But it's been bothering me since these last number of things happened, man.
No, and
it's just...
I agree because I have 2 boys and a girl, and it's like they're getting older and then they're growing up into this environment, and it's like...
Well, and that's my thing too. Is like the guy in Buffalo that he had like a 180-page manifesto. I've tried to get my hands on it. I've submitted letters. I'm gonna have to do a Freedom of Information Act on that because I want to see what was written in that. Because as a father of a 14-year-old son, I want you as a parent, you've got to know that hey, you need to look for behaviors in your kid too, because there's a lot of shit that goes on in these schools that they don't tell you about. Like a lot of shit that's happened with my kid, disciplinary wise, they have never told me about. Until like a second or third time, and then I go in there and find out. And I'm like, you guys were supposed to call me immediately when this first happened, and you never even contacted me. And now I'm sitting here going, you know,
what the heck? Yeah,
like I mean, from stuff as simple as bus behavior. Like if your kid gets in trouble on the bus, they're supposed to call you like immediately. And I found out that he'd been in trouble on the bus over and over, you know, and I didn't know a thing about it. And so there's no communication, you know, and it's, and that's my point of view. I don't necessarily want to read some sicko's fucking manifesto, but I want to see like, where is he getting this? Where is he getting this from? Where is this coming from? And that way, as parents, we're able to see those warning signs, not only in our own children, but if we see it in other kids. I mean, we're all a community, you know. I mean, you see that, you need to do something. You don't just let a kid like that just slip through the cracks and just think that everything's, nothing's going to happen, because look at it, man. I mean, look how many times this has gone on. I mean, and the first school shooting that happened was in 1891, so it's not a new thing. I mean, everybody thinks that it just started with Columbine, and that's not the truth. It's not the fact, but it's been going on, and it's not guns. You know, that's not what it is. It's a systemic problem.
It's the people.
It's a societal problem, and I just honestly think that it's people that they've slipped through the cracks. They're in despair. They think nobody cares, and they're going to show everybody. They're in enough pain that they're going to show everybody the pain that they're in, and they don't give a shit. And you know, to allow that to happen to our kids is just, you know, I mean, things are going to happen. You're going to have. I mean, that's life. You know.
If you say that to me now that I have two kids who are about to go, Javi's about to go into preschool, and then next year he'll be into kindergarten, and it's like.
I mean, I mean, all of our children are susceptible.
My daughter is only one, but it's like in a couple of years she'll be ready to go into preschool. So it's like, what the heck? Yeah, and then you gotta, I mean, you know, you gotta look at that too. You know, it's like, what's she gonna be, you know, subjected to as a female? You know, and you know, and we've got to raise better young people. I mean, that's the thing right there, is you have to, I mean, there's, you know, you can't just turn them loose to the wolves. I mean, and it's tough to do in the society we live in. You know, it's very difficult to do, but I mean, it falls on all of our heads. Ultimately, and it's not a matter of passing fucking stupid legislation or anything like that, or pointing fingers at anybody, because we all need to point the finger at ourselves. I mean, everybody in society is guilty of letting this happen, and I always tell that to people that talk shit about millennials. Well, they don't have any work ethic. They're lazy. I'm like, they're lazy because guess what? The millennials are our kids, and we were the ones that raised them to be this way. So we can't just, you can't raise. We can't expect them to be better that way, and then just like all of a sudden it's on them. No, I mean, you know, we're the ones that raised them playing games where they, you know, everybody got a participation trophy and and we parked them in front of a fucking iPad instead of taking the time to do something with them. We didn't take them fishing. We took them and set them down. I mean, I don't know how many parents talk about the iPad, the video games being a great babysitter. I probably looked at it as the worst parent on the block when I took fucking Xbox and a fucking PlayStation 4 and a fucking TV and took it out in the driveway and smashed them. You know, I told my son, I said, I don't want these in your room. You can play them when you ask and in the living room. And he kept taking them and sneaking them back and putting all these things in his room. And I'd find the game console. So I was like, nope. You didn't get it.
I went out and smashed $1,500 worth of shit, and I don't care about the money.
Yeah.
It was the point of, like, you're going to listen to what I'm telling you to do here, or we're, it's gone. And I like playing the video games once in a while.
Yeah.
I like...
No, it's like me. It's like, you know what? I'll get home right now. It's like time for me to eat dinner, and then I'll play a game, and then it's time for bed. But it's like... Right. My time, it's like quiet time.
Right. When I had the Xbox, I mean, there was a time where I would sit there and I would Mafia 3, man. I loved that game.
Yeah.
I don't like many video games.
Oh my God.
But I started playing that one.
Yeah.
I guess I just bought it and
yeah.
And I started playing it, and it pissed me off so bad. And I'd fucking throw the remote, the thing down, and I'd go out the garage and do some work, and I'd come back in and pick it up. And then I started getting better at it, and then the story was good, and I was like, that's the only game I've ever liked. But I played it, and I beat that thing I don't know how many times on every different level. And I was always like, I always felt bad. Like, no. But I'd do the same thing. I'd be late night. I'd be like midnight to 2 a.m., And I'd get, now I sit here and play guitar instead, which is probably a little more productive.
Let me see. I played that Mafia 2 on PS3, and then Mafia 3 came out when I suffered a brain injury. Okay. So I bought it, but then I was like, what the fuck is this
game? I enjoyed it. I mean, I've never liked I mean, that's the only game I think. Oh, that and God of War. God of War.
No, God of War is like great. But it's like, Mafia 3 came out, and I was like, am I supposed to do that? Because I had the brain injury, and then I was like,
didn't know anything. Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing?
I remember my roommates when I was in Seattle. This was like in 01, 02.
Yeah,
they came home with an Xbox, and I had a big screen TV in the living room. That's what we watched TV on. You know? And, like, I would always get the Major League Baseball packages or the basketball pack, and so there's a ball game on, and I go out in the living room, and these guys are playing this Halo thing.
Oh my God.
And I'd never seen an Xbox before. I said, get this shit off my TV. I said, there's a goddamn playoff game on, and they're like, no, dude, you got to try this. And I'm like, huh? And I grabbed a controller, and I mean, next thing I know, the sun's coming up, and I got to go to work. And I'm like, dude, this is bad news. Like, I didn't play it again, but it was, I mean, that was the first time that I played it. I mean, like, I was just, it was, I realized, like, how dangerous it could be just by the fact that you just get sucked in. And I mean, I've never been a video game guy, but that was the first time. And then when I got, that Mafia 3 on that, when I bought an Xbox One for him for Christmas one year, and I think I just, how did I get? I think I ordered it. I think I signed up for the Xbox Gold thing online.
Yeah.
And then I saw the game, and it looked interesting, and I was like, oh, I'll just get it. It's only $40.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So I just downloaded it on the thing.
Yeah.
It pissed me off. I'm getting shot and killed, and I'm like, fuck this. You know? And then I'm like, I come back in, try it again, and next thing you know, I'm fucking cruising around in this game. I'm into the story. I'm thinking I'm that guy. You know, I'm like, this is dangerous. But I mean, it's easy to get pulled into that, but it's also easy to do other things too.
No, I suffered a brain injury, and then I decided to try Mafia, and then Grand Theft Auto 5, and I was like, holy shit. I talked to my wife, and I was like, what the fuck are you supposed to do in this game? And she's like,
that Grand Theft Auto.
She's like, you're supposed to go and just make as much fun as you can. And I was like, really?
Do you ever think about this? Okay, so like in a video game, right? Say Grand Theft Auto. You're going down the street in Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. You're on foot. Or in one of the cars. Or whatever. Yeah. Now, all those people that you run into are there around that corner. Yeah. But unless you turn that corner, they just sit there. Yeah. And they're back and forth, right? Do you think that there's people like that in the world?
Probably, yeah.
Dolores Cannon has a proposition of that, and she calls them like the shadow people.
Yeah.
That they don't really have a soul. They're not really here to do anything, but unless you interact with them, then they don't do anything. They're just there, their background. Like, think about how many people you walk by in a day that are just going through the motions, and you're like, it's like, or it's like, were they just sitting like you're at Walmart and you turn the corner to go down the frozen pizza section?
Yeah.
Like is the lady with the shopping cart, has she actually been walking around the store? Or is she just put there? And does she just come into action when you turn the corner and you acknowledge her? It's like Schrodinger's cats. Like they can be alive and dead at the same time.
Oh my god.
I know it's a brain fuck.
Yeah, it's like
These are the things. These are the things I fucking. These are the things I think about, man. It's kind of fucking twisted.
Oh my god.
But really, you got to ask yourself that. Like, are these just soulless individuals that? Because otherwise, how can you explain the amount of incredibly stupid fucking people out there? There are so many dumbasses out. I mean, I it's just amazing. I mean, I don't even like talking to many people anymore because it's just like, I mean, I'll still talk to somebody, but it's like as soon as it's obvious that this is just gonna be a waste of time, it's like,
I'm done.
I mean, you gotta wonder, like, why are these people here?
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about simulation theory. It's like, are we just in a video game? We very well could be.
Yeah.
Because why do we play video games? Why would we do that?
To disconnect ourselves from reality,
or is that because that's what we are? And disconnecting ourselves from reality, the reality that we are a simulation, is a way to get out of the simulation for a minute, into another simulation.
Fuck.
I mean, you got to ask yourself these types of questions because, to me, it seems like, I mean, and I'm not putting myself on any kind of pedestal or anything like that.
Yeah.
I know I'm just a useful idiot. I'm a dumbass. I make bad decisions all the time, but I at least am acknowledging that I am a dumbass.
Yeah.
Whereas the majority of society, they won't even admit it. They think that they're the smart. You run into some of these rubes out there, and they think they've got it figured out, and they're the most intelligent human being on the planet. And you're just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, at least I know I'm stupid.
I used to be one of those who used to think I was the most intelligent, and then I suffered a brain injury, and now it's like, no, I'm just like one of the...
It's crazy how it takes an event, though.
Yeah.
Like it'll take a major event to like slap you out of it.
No, it's like...
I think you come awake. Like,
yeah, it's like, I'm one of the people who just likes to live their life and maximize whatever time I have left.
But you understand now what's important, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you through your experience, you got a new lease on life.
Yeah.
You got the opportunity to sit back and look at the way you were living your life and the things that you did consider important, and then you had the opportunity to realize that, holy shit.
Yeah.
All these things that I've been striving for, going after, that I've held important, are not important.
It's nothing, yeah.
And that this material shit doesn't mean anything. That it's, that there's a lot more that's, of vastly more important nature than what kind of car am I driving, or I mean, am I spending all my money on, are my shoes a status symbol, or are they useful? Are my pants fashionable, or are they useful?
No, before I used to be fashionable, and it's like...
Yeah, like...
Nowadays it's like...
hip, staying like...
Yeah, but nowadays it's like, fucking hell. It's like, just wake up, asshole. It's like, this is what matters. It's like...
Yeah, who are you trying to fucking impress?
Yeah.
One of these idiots? I mean...
And you're becoming one idiot just by trying to do that.
If you're trying to impress the idiots, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're buying shit because it's like, what you consider to be hip, cool, fashionable, whatever, then you're, I mean, if you're not endeavoring to do things that have meaning to you, then you're in my mind, you're...
No, see, but when I used to live outside of DC, it's like, you just had to do that because you wanted to become one of them, and then it's like...
Right.
And before you realize it, you are actually one of them, and then it's like...
Yeah, I mean, you're eating fake ass food, and I haven't seen a movie. I don't even know what a new movie would even be. I wouldn't even know what's at the theater right now. I don't even know what's on TV. I mean, the only thing that I watch is I get news information, and I use the internet for information. I mean, sometimes and I use it a lot for like learning to play guitar and shit like that. But to me, that's something that's useful. That's something that I think music is important. I think it's a part of all of us.
Yeah.
I think we have like a tempo, an inner tempo inside of all of us, right? And that's music. That's why music touches you. That's why you listen to certain songs and you hear it and you go, God damn, I love that song, man. You know? I mean, everybody always was asking me before COVID, like, why do you always go to fucking concerts? Like, it's like every week you're fucking flying somewhere else. And I was like, because I love going to a show. Yeah. And I go by myself. And, you know, I've got friends everywhere. You know, I go to a show and I'm immediately surrounded by family. Because I see people that I've known for 20, 25 years. But, I mean, I go there to seek that moment in that show when everything comes together and I get that chill. Yeah. That chill that just, you know, and that smile.
Oh, my God,
to where it just, like, takes you completely out of your body and out of nothing else fucking matters. Yeah. Nothing else even exists. And you're just sitting there and when you feel that, you know that transfers to the people on stage that are playing. Yeah. And it's like a cyclical thing where everybody all of a sudden, and you're looking at people that maybe you know or you don't know next to you, and you're just smiling at them. And the show gets over, and everybody goes out with a big smile on their face, and you. I mean, that's what I love about music, man. That's why I go to shows. That's why I'm always chasing that chill, and everybody's like, I always tell that people, it's like I'm chasing the chill. That's what I want to have, those goosebumps on my arm, pop, and just that moment where it's just like everything comes together. And it's just
1999, it was Metallica and Pantera, Mexico City.
I've watched that show.
It was fucking
I've watched
great.
that show. That was a great show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Metallica. I loved them growing up, and I've started listening to them a lot more recently. Yeah. And become more in tune to what they've done with. I mean, those guys have been playing for 30 fucking years.
No, it's 40 years. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, they're still going strong. I mean, and to watch like the transformation of like James Hetfield, what a torture! Yeah. I mean, that dude's been he's what a tortured soul. I mean, he had a very rough upbringing. Yeah, very rough upbringing, and for those guys to all come together and form that band. Yeah, like Lars, a Danish fucking a Dutchman, whatever. His dad was
they lost their bass player. Yeah,
and do you know how that happened? Yeah, it was a game of paper, scissors, rocks. Yeah, between Kirk Hammett and him to decide who got that bunk.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody lived. And then Cliff. Yeah, I mean, it's like the same way that Stevie Ray Vaughan died. You know, on that helicopter. And he's playing with Eric Clapton at night, and they said whoever played the best was going to get to fly out on the helicopter. Stevie Ray killed it, got on the helicopter crashed. Could have very well been Clapton. Yeah. So one of those two, I mean, that's one of those things, man. One of those two. I was watching their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yesterday, and Cliff's dad got up on stage with him. Yeah. And Cliff's mom was in the crowd, and she was just bawling, you know. And Dad was, I mean, he stood up there with him, and you know, I mean, it's just crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, I got the distortion right on that bass guitar the other night to play the Cliff line.
Let me say something. It's like, since it was just on Stranger Things, the Master of Puppets. Yeah. And it was like, Dad, do you have that song? I was like, of course I have that song. He's like, play it. And I played it in the car. Yeah. And he's like, oh my gosh, that song is awesome. I'm like, thank God you're waking up to good music. It's like...
Yeah, no, I listen to those guys almost every day. When I go out on my bike, that's what I put, for some reason, like the last 6 months, that's what is in my headphones. Because I go out there and I put my earphones in and I'm just hauling ass on that, and I just put on this Metallica playlist.
Oh my God.
And dude, I mean, I always liked him in high school and shit. I listened to him all the time, and then I kind of drew away from it for a while, and then you go back and you revisit it and you realize how good those guys actually are. And they didn't. I mean, you could call them heavy. They're definitely heavy, but
it's not super heavy.
It's not heavy. Like, it's not like speed metal or thrash. It's not thrash. It's like it's got an organization to it. It's got a there's a methodology to it.
And it's so funny that Andrew asked me, like, why does Master of Puppet last 8 minutes? I was like, because it starts heavy and then it goes into the choir, which is like the calm music, and then it gets heavy again. So it's like...
Well, and then you see their shows where they've played with an orchestra behind them.
Exactly. I mean, my God, that's great.
When you can take, a genre of music like that and then incorporate it
S&M,
an orchestra and have that work, and it works. It does. It moves you.
Yeah.
And James Hetfield is just, that dude is amazing. I mean, the way he plays guitar, I'm trying to save up some money to get a well, I've got that Stratocaster over there that I'm working on. I just got to get it put back together.
Yeah.
But I bought that bass, and I had my modeling amp set up the other night, and I was playing that Cliff Burton,
Oh, yeah.
And you listen to his old stuff, and it's just like, dude, that guy was. He was what, 24 when he died? He didn't even have a chance to even get going, but he did enough that.
Yeah.
And like they were saying, if
he recorded 2 discs with Metallica, and then he passed away. So,
but I think his father said that if you die and you die knowing that and you've done something, you've made your mark, you've accomplished something like nobody else has ever done, which basically he did. And then look at the 2 guys that followed, like Jason Newsted. And then Robert Trujillo, both excellent musicians in their own right, and they still play his music, and it's an honor for them to do so. So that's a big thing, So it shows you that I guess it doesn't really matter, like the song "Nothing Else Matters."
Yeah. Great
song.
My
God. But it's like if you've lived your life and you've done, something amazing or whatever, and
Ride the Lightning.
Oh God. Yeah, I was listening to that the other day.
Yeah.
I was listening. There was the middle of a goddamn storm, and I turned that on.
And it's like older songs that people are like, wait, what? And it's like, it's like you gotta listen to it.
But like their new album that came out is awesome. A lot of people talk shit on a couple of those that came out, like the Load and Reload or whatever. Yeah. But the new one that came out is, I listened to that a lot. It's pretty good shit. And for those guys to be that age and keep doing what they're doing, and then to have gone through what they've gone through.
Yeah.
Have you watched the movie that they have with the kid that like ends up in the middle of that fucking crazy? Dude, I've watched that like 3 or 4 times, and it trips me out every time.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is this all about? The kid in the van. What's he going to get?
Yeah.
Like, I've never figured it out. Anyway, we should probably wrap it up.
It's
We're
okay.
We're going to get in trouble.
Hey, it was totally worth it. So.
Well, we finally got everything going.
Yeah.
So, anyway, for what it's worth...
Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica. Fucking rock and roll.
For sure.
From 52 miles east of Jellystone Park in Coyote, Wyoming.
Yep.
Ricardo Torres.
Thank you.
I'm your host, Mike, and I guess I got to go out with the typical thing. Be good or be good at it.
Yep.
In all things, be kind and do no harm. And if you do, make it right.
Yeah.
We're out. Later.